Welcome back to another episode of All Things Everything presented by Gulf Coast Smoke. My name is Alonzo.
And I'm Sabrina.
And this is episode 20. Okay, sweet. So we missed last week. We actually didn't upload a podcast or a video. And why did we not upload a video last week?
Why did we?
So it was because I wanted to try the burnt ends.
Oh, that's right.
Well,
yeah.
So not necessarily burnt ends. What I wanted to do was I wanted to get a brisket point that we've trimmed out of one of our competition briskets, and I wanted to try rendering down that fat from that brisket and making some really good street tacos. And I'm going to be completely honest, it just didn't work. It did not work. To be completely blunt about it, they were horrible. Now, okay, the flavor was good. The flavor was for sure fine. What was horrible was the texture on the brisket. Which, if you guys cook burn ends, you know the hardest thing to do is to nail the texture because, yeah, the flavor is most definitely always going to be there. It's brisket. It's fatty brisket. There's lots of flavor in it already as it is. As long as you don't oversalt them, they're going to be really good. But you have to render that fat. You absolutely have to. Otherwise, you're going to get a really, really chewy bite. So we try to go a little bit lower and slower on the griddle. Render that fat, get some nice crust on the outside of the pieces. And man, I don't know what else to say. It was just truly not good. And we had tried to film the whole thing, and I took a bite, and we were about to say an outro and everything, and I flat out looked at you, and I said, man, I don't feel good releasing this video, because let's just say that it reaches, I don't know, 100,000 people, 150,000 people. Our videos don't get that many views necessarily, but it's possible.
Right.
And then people are like, oh my gosh, great idea. I'm going to try it because that guy said so. And they turn out horrible. Man, you wasted time. You wasted money. They just weren't good. In my opinion, I'm not saying don't try it, but just watch out if you're trying to use brisket point for street taco meat.
Yeah, I think if we had used the flat, maybe the results would have been different because the intramuscular fat isn't as large in it. But I think the point would be good for carne guisada.
Yeah,
something like
that's like a long, low, and slow cook for sure. Yeah, no, and I think people do that. Brisket trimmings, some from the point, some from the flat. They'll use it for carne guisada, like you said. And man, it really was going to be about using what you have and turning it into something great. And I think it was a great idea. It just didn't turn out good. There's not really much to say about the recipe. Again, it had good flavor. The bite was not good, and we decided not to post it. And I think last week was just one of those weeks where all the content we were trying to shoot, it just felt off. Yeah. And it happens. It does happen. Believe it or not, it happens a lot. We try our best, and we always want to make good videos, but man, everything we were doing just didn't really work out. We did film a podcast. At the end of the podcast, I flat out told you, I was like, man, this podcast did not feel good. It just didn't feel good. And you're like, well, let's just finish it up. We'll see what it's like when I start editing it. And you flat out texted me when you were editing it, and you were like, yeah, this podcast is not good.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even get in to start doing cuts or anything because I was just watching over the footage. I was like, man, vibe is way off. And
I mean, I think that's kind of, unfortunately, just the way our week went last week.
Yeah.
Not that the vibe was off between me and you and the kids or anything. It just, nothing was really going our way when it came to us filming content.
Right.
And like I said, it's not something that I want to happen, but it does happen. And I wish we would have had videos for you guys, and I wish we would have had a podcast because I don't like missing weeks. But I would rather put out something that I do feel good about than something that I'm forcing down your throats, and you guys might be turned off at that point. Like, man, that guy he was in a bad mood that day. She was in a bad mood that day, or they just, nothing sounded or felt right.
Especially if it's your first time watching one of our videos.
For sure. And you know what? We'll be flat out honest with you. I mean, we're human beings too. We have off days. We try our hardest, but man, this is not to make this out to be more than what it is, but this is not easy to do. Right? So, if I'm having a bad day at work, I got to come home and I have to try and be energetic and happy and all that stuff in order to film good videos for you guys. And I don't know. It just didn't work out for us last week. So what I want to do, is I want to move on from last week, and now we're in this week. And so we obviously talked about the fact that we had no recipes last week. And the funny thing is, we have no recipes at all on our website anymore because I made a huge mistake. I made the mistake. Sabrina and I were just looking over the website, making some changes to it. And the thing that I always do is I have a backup of the website, right? And I still have it. I still have the one backup of the website. But what I did was I accidentally removed every single recipe from our website, and they're completely gone. Like, I tried to go to the support. I tried to do everything I could to find those recipes and restore them, and they're just straight up gone. I
will say, I mean, Shopify, I really wish they had some sort of resolution for that, but everything that we researched
so I don't blame Shopify because there is a backup function, and, we just should have had it backed up from a later date. You always are supposed to keep a copy of your store, and you can update it consistently, but I wasn't doing that.
Well, yeah, but there's literally no undo function there.
Yeah.
It's just like,
but I mean, it does ask you, are you sure you want to delete? So it's not there. I mean, not to.
Oh, I'm not saying it's their fault by any means. But
I mean, if they had an undo button, that'd be great. Control Z. Let me Control Z on that.
Yeah.
But yes, I made the mistake. I am the one that clicked it. I'm the one that did everything. My pits are burning is calling. Hold on. Kevin, you're on the podcast right now. What do you have to say, bro?
I'm on the podcast right now?
You're literally on the podcast right now, brother.
Oh, shoot. What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody? So we're filming it right now. We're going to edit this, but we're going to leave this part in. Are you showing up to Refrio this weekend?
I am. I'm going over there to, I gotta win,
Are you going to be on the YouTube video this weekend?
It just depends if the guy that's making the video wants me on there,
Oh, this guy. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to try and get some chicken tips from you, bro, because everybody loved the chicken tips that I posted on Facebook today.
Oh, dude, those are pretty chickens, man. They look like my chickens.
Well, where did I learn it from, bro?
I don't know, man. Some badass chicken cook.
I'll call you back as soon as we're done filming, okay? Later, bro. Kevin from My Pits Are Burning, my buddy. We're going to see him this weekend, and he's going to be in Refugio, so we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But kind of back to what we were talking about a second ago, yeah, I deleted all of the recipes on our website. So I'm talking literally everything. Now, the other thing is we don't have backups of those recipes in, you don't have an archive of them, do you?
Well, I do have recipes saved on our old laptop. That laptop's hard to turn on at the moment. I did have
Well, it's hard to turn on because Oscar has it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. It's hard to turn on because we don't have it at our house. Oscar has it at his house. But anyway, that's a different story.
Yeah, well, when we get that back, we'll take a look. Because I do... Normally, at the end of all these recipes, I have...
it's a Word document.
I have I have a table that has just the basic ingredients instructions. So I should have... that's the thing that sucks.
You might have a few.
I've relied... these are our recipes that we've created, but a lot of them, it's gotten to the point where I've relied on looking at them on our website.
You do it all the time. I've seen you do it.
Oh, yeah. I'll just pull it up. And so we rely on that a lot.
So I made a huge mistake, and I deleted every single recipe from our website. So if you go to our website right now, you cannot look up any recipes. The only thing you can do, which I hope you do, is buy some of our seasonings. And if you do look at any of our recipes, and if you rely on some of them the way that we do, I apologize. We are unfortunately just going to have to work on a new catalog.
Yeah, send us a message, though. If there's a specific one that you've always looked off of, I'm going to double check and see what we have saved. Because, even Sam, she has recipes of ours that she saves on her phone, and she'll the fried chicken and everything like that. So
for sure.
Yeah, I'll have to look.
Yeah, like I said, I'm sorry about it, but as weird as it sounds, that did not upset me at all. Neither of us were really upset. Of course, we were like, oh my gosh, this just happened. Neither of us were upset because we've been talking about our recipes for a while. There's some that are really good. There's some that are really bad. The pictures were horrible. And that's how it kind of started.
Right.
We were looking back at our recipes and we're saying, oh my gosh, that picture looks horrible. Delete that one, delete that one, delete that one. And then the way that our recipes were set up, it was by categories. So it was by chicken, pork, beef, etc., etc., etc. And what we were going to do is we were just going to delete the subcategories and we were going to create new ones. What we were going to do is we were going to create like Southern Hospitality, Southern Hospitality, Southern Belle, that base. And then we were going to create a big one that said like all three or all four, whatever. So it was 100% my fault. There's no recipes on the website. And it's an opportunity, although it's going to take a little bit of time, it's an opportunity for us to take recipes really seriously, try and get some really good footage, maybe buy some backdrops or something where we can get really good photos and just take our time making them. And that scared me too. That was the glitter.
I thought that was fire.
Dude, I don't know what I thought that was. I thought it was a laser. But that was actually the confetti that came out of our 200.
Hey, that's
score.
Some good luck right
that's
there.
Some good luck. We're not cooking pork this weekend because we're doing an IBCA, but hey, let's hope we have some really good luck and we can do really well. And one of the things with the recipes being completely gone and making a huge mistake that I tried to take from it was obviously being super careful. And then now, instead of losing my cool, which in that case I didn't, hey man, just try and be patient. Just have a little bit more patience. And we've talked about this over the past couple of days because in my personal life, I've had some things happen that I think tested my patience. And it's one of those things where how do you respond to things happening in your life, or what do you do that helps you hone in on your patience? I'm actually curious, right? So this is something that just literally popped in the top of my head. I don't know why I'm talking about this, but I'm kind of curious. Like, okay, for example, for you, it's not easy, but like what, when you know I need to be patient in this situation, is there anything that you think of in your head that allows you to say, okay, let me step back for a second, take a deep breath? For example, one of the things for me that I lose my patience on a lot is when our kids are just being crazy and they don't clean up after themselves, and then it just piles up. Like right now, we're in the podcast room. Our kids are in the living room. We trust them. They're not going to do anything bad. We know that. But there's been multiple times where we go out there, and there's probably 40 toys, and then they're just scattered all over the ground, and it makes it really hard. You're like, I can't even step anywhere without stepping on a toy. Now, here's the thing. The truth is they're children and they're doing nothing wrong and they're just trying to play while their mom and dad are doing something else. But sometimes, maybe when you and I are not having the best day, it's like, I told you to clean up after yourself. I this. And I'm not thinking logically. Man, these are children, right? They are children. Like, they cannot express themselves the way they absolutely need to. They rely on us for everything, literally, besides wiping their butt and doing stuff like that. They're kids, but what helps you hone in on that patience? Because I've been tested this week for sure. And I've told you before that I have prayed for guidance on patience. And I saw something today on, was it Instagram or TikTok or something? And it said, you pray for one thing, God is not going to give it to you. He's going to give you obstacles to overcome it. Right. And I'll be honest, I was given some obstacles this week. Now, for me, I want to become a more patient person, but I also am going to remain who I am. And I'm the one thing about me is I don't want to change who I am unless it's just a horrible trait that's not good. But I'm trying to work on the patience thing, and I think at times I become really good at it. And then of course, like any other human, we backtrack a little bit and we're not that great at it. But anyway, this wasn't something that I planned on talking about today, but my head just started going, and you know how I am. I can go into 50 different directions. So is there anything for you that when you're feeling impatient, what helps you bring it back in and realize, okay, hey, look, like I said, it's an example. But the reason I say the example also is because you're a stay-at-home mom. You are with the kids. 24/7, 365. Your day job is to take care of GCS. Your nighttime job is to edit for GCS and do everything for GCS. I mean, you do all of our paperwork, you do all of our, you know where the money's going, all that stuff. When you need to be patient and you feel yourself not being patient, what helps you hone it in?
I mean, so there's lots of things, right? Kind of one thing you even mentioned is just taking a deep breath.
Perspective.
I mean, even if you have to just like for example, with the kids or something, I tell them like, hey, just give me a minute. I gotta take a breath and collect my thoughts. Because like even today, trying to like homeschooling the kids, right, can be frustrating.
For sure. I mean,
right?
I came home and you're homeschooling them and you're teaching them stuff. And, one of the kids sees that I'm home and then they're like, oh, Dad's here. Like they think it's time to maybe play around a little bit, but that's just not the case. And you do a great job, but, we can tell when the kids are losing focus and when you have to like get them back in line.
But another thing that I came upon, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago, but it said, like if you're praying for patience, God isn't going to make you patient. He's going to give you opportunities to be patient.
For sure.
So that's one thing that helps me. I mean, especially with the kids. I know patience goes beyond just being a parent, but especially with the kids, right? I have to stop myself and think like, okay, because most of the time what happens is when you lose your patience, while you're losing your patience, you're very aware of what you're doing, right? Like, that this doesn't feel good. This isn't the way I should be responding, but it's just a quick fix to it, right? Because you're frustrated and you're impatient. So I think taking a deep breath and really think logically about the situation. Like, okay, this milk just spilt everywhere. My reaction is going to become their reaction, right? So for the people that are around you, they're going to start reacting the way you react when you're around them for a really long time, right?
For sure.
So it's definitely something in our minds a lot for us right now is watching our reactions to things because we have little ones around us. We have people who watch our videos.
Yeah.
Our reactions matter because when people see that can become a way that they start to react, and you don't want to impact anybody negatively. Right.
You're correct.
So it's just things like taking a deep breath, praying, but also remembering that God is giving you opportunities to be patient and to work through your struggles, not just snapping your fingers and fixing
It's not
it.
like, hey, I'm asking for something, here it is on a platter.
Right.
One of the things that I saw today was when you pray for financial freedom or when you pray for your finances to get better, you won't see help until you start helping yourself, right? As in like, okay, I bought 40 Stanley Cups, but I don't have money. I'm broke. But I bought 40 Stanley Cups, right? So I challenge everybody listening, and I challenge us too. Take a step back. What's important and what's not? If you are struggling with anything in your life, what's important and what's not? What things can you cut out? This is not just about finances. It could be about, oh, well, I want help losing weight, which, I don't know if that's the best example, but man, take a step back, man, I'm eating Snickers and Skittles and everything every day. Maybe I cut the Skittles first, then the Snickers next or whatever. And, like I said, I had no intention of it really being this real for what we're talking about today, but it's just something that's kind of on my mind. I talked to you about it yesterday, and man, I think sometimes some people maybe, I don't know, something just told me to talk about it. So,
and I think that's also a solution to the problem a lot of times is just talking about it. Find somebody to talk about it with, because when you keep all that inside your head, you're not saying it out loud. And a lot of the times, even when you're trying to have that inner monologue in your head, it's not as clear as when you talk, right? Things are circling, things are repeating. It's not clear. You got to get it out and you got to talk to somebody about it. And especially having different views, different perspectives to bounce off of, different ideas.
Absolutely.
That's going to help a lot. So you delete all your recipes, really tell yourself, is this that important? Yeah. Or is this something that can be fixed if I put the work in?
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. And, the last thing I'll say about this, all this seriousness and serious talk that we have is just, man, at the end of the day, I think everyone out there, just do your best to remain who you are and stay true to who you are. If there's things you need to work on, absolutely work on them. But man, all of your strong points, keep them. One of the things about me that I love that I got from my father is that I don't like to be confrontational at any point, but I really love that I'm not afraid to stand for what I think is right. And I never will be afraid to. And I literally texted my dad today, just because of the things that have been kind of going on. I texted my dad today and I said, hey man, I just want you to know that I am so grateful you're my dad. Every part of me who is me, I learned from you. I learned from mom. I'm very thankful you're my dad. I'm proud to be your son. And just thank you for all the guidance and everything you've given me in my life. So I have so much to owe to dad. And man, I want everybody out there, whether things are going great for you or they're going horrible for you or they're going somewhere in between, man, take a step back every once in a while. Take a deep breath. Think about what's going on with you. What can you make better? What do you want to change? And then, man, let's get a plan and let's go do this. You know, I've told you guys before a million times that Sabrina and I know that this is what we're supposed to do and this is what we're going to do for the rest of our lives. Right now, it might not necessarily be that. This is not what we're doing for the rest of our lives, but it is going to get there. We have faith that it's going to get there. Even with the bad weeks last week, we push forward and we say, hey, now is our time. Now is when we make the good content. Now is when we make the good recipe. If it doesn't go viral and hit a bajillion views, that's okay. We go again next week. And that's okay. We're going to keep making our podcast because it makes us happy. And I know for a fact that there's somebody out there that watches and or listens, at least one person that really enjoys what we're doing. And that's all that I need.
Yeah.
And that's all that I need. And then on top of that, I know also for a fact that this has made us, our whole family, me, you, my dad, the kids, my mom, all of us closer. Because everybody is in this to help us reach our goals. Even your parents. Like your dad called me the other day. We don't necessarily talk on the phone. And when we do, it's about GCS, where we're going, what we're doing. How proud he is of us, how he loves the new seasoning that's coming out, and it's the best thing I've ever tasted. So shout out to Jason, we love you. Judy, we love you. And I think that we took this out of the last podcast, but we do want to say congratulations to your sister, Samantha, my sister-in-law, obviously, and her husband, Nathan. They had a beautiful baby boy, and his name is Mason. And what was the day? The 12th? Oh, it's
the 12th, Piper's birthday. So
yeah,
that's why we didn't include it, is because we shot the podcast before Friday, which was the 12th, which was Piper's birthday. And we thought, oh, yeah, she'll probably have the baby by then.
Yeah, like 2 days before we thought. And
Yep.
so, yeah, she had the baby on the same exact day that Piper is born, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Incredible. Congrats to you guys. It's already been a few weeks. So hopefully they're getting into the swing of things and all that. And yeah, it's been really cool. Oh, and also I did attend a class with Bill. I didn't attend the class. I helped Bill in a very small way teach a class in Willis, Texas, and it was a lot of fun. So it gave me a lot of ideas of upcoming classes that you and I could do one day. And then also, I've talked to a high school today, the one that Reagan's on, the young girl that has, she won a first place ribs a couple events back. They went to the rodeo, and they said that, the girls are doing great, but they're trying to dial a few things in. I said, hey, me and my wife will give a free class to them anytime, the high school kids. So hopefully we can work something out with that. Any high schools out there that want to try our product, that like our videos, anything, please reach out to me. We are here to support the younger kids that want to get into this.
Well, in Ingleside High School.
Yeah, Ingleside High School actually won grand champion at the San Antonio Rodeo in the junior pitmaster division, and they hit a first place brisket using Southern Hospitality. So they layered it with other seasonings, but they used Southern Hospitality on top, the same exact way we do. So our seasonings did help them hit that first place brisket, which we are grateful that they chose to run our products. and we are so excited for you guys. Again, any high schools out there, I mean any, that watch our stuff, that learn from our stuff, you want to try our products, you contact me or Sabrina directly, we will get you products. We absolutely want to support the kids that are getting into this hobby and craft moving forward. So congratulations to everybody that did great at San Antonio Rodeo, especially the young high school kids. Bobby Ray Delgado, his team did great as well. So shout out to every single one of those teams. And man, it's really cool to see these high school kids coming up.
Really cool to see that they're offering this at high school. I mean, this wasn't when we were kids.
Nope, it wasn't around when we were kids. So it's just really, really fun to see. It's really fun to see. And yeah, I mean, we talked about barbecue. We talked about some recipes. We talked about me deleting all the recipes. We're going to be in Refugio, Texas this weekend, competing in an IBCA competition. 3 meets, hour-and-a-half turn-ins, chicken, ribs, brisket. We'll see how we do. We'll do our best, and we'll live with the results. It's going to be completely fine either way. Now, we are very excited, extremely excited, to introduce a new segment into the podcast called
Around the Kettle.
Around the Kettle with Gulf Coast Smoke. Completely by herself, Sabrina came up with this idea, which I think is great, and I think you guys are, well, hopefully going to like it. So the premise of Around the Kettle is what, Sabrina?
I just kind of got to thinking of, when you're sitting around the campfire.
Sure.
You're just sitting there, you're, maybe roasting marshmallows, maybe you're cooking hot dogs, burgers, something simple, and you're just having a conversation, right? So that's kind of the premise of this is we're going to be cooking on the kettle, simple things. We'll share what we're doing with you guys, talk about what it is we're making. It's not a full-length food tutorial or grilling tutorial.
Yeah, it's not going to be that.
Yeah, it's just us talking just like we do on the podcast, but we're also cooking something. It also gives us an opportunity to branch out with our all things everything topics while also including some type of, barbecue content, food content that a lot of you are here for. So, yeah, I mean, it's only going to be around 15 minutes. It's going to be a short segment to this, but I mean, it's just we really want to layer in things to this podcast and, expand it, grow it,
for sure.
Exciting things that you guys are going to look forward to, whether you're watching it or you're listening to it, okay, well, this is the part where they're going to start cooking. They'll talk.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that we did this week was we did cook a recipe, and it was game day themed. So it was buffalo chicken tacos. If you guys haven't watched that video, go back and watch it right now. It's the last video on our channel. But for the first segment, for the first time doing Around the Kettle, we wanted to keep it game day themed.
For sure.
So we're about to head outside, and we're going to grill up some chicken wings and talk about all things, everything when it comes to chicken wings and being around the kettle. Thanks for joining us Around the Kettle. On today's menu, we are making chicken wings. So we talked just a little bit ago about game day foods. So we decided that we wanted to make some chicken wings. Now we're making 2 different types of chicken wings. Sabrina, how did you season yours up?
I went ahead and seasoned mine with, of course, some of our That Base. And, Weber sent us a bunch of really, really cool seasonings that are all pretty good. I'm going for more of like a lemon pepper wing today. So nice. I'm using their roasted garlic and roastic. Is that what I said? Mm-hmm. I'm using their roasted garlic and herb paired with That Base. And towards the end, I'm going to go in with like some melted butter, some lemon juice, a little bit of lemon zest.
Sweet.
I would have made our lemon pepper, but...
Yeah, we don't have the recipe for that, right? So yeah. For today, I decided to also start with a layer of That Base. And then I'm using the Weber garlic Parmesan seasoning, which we tasted these on our hands, and they taste amazing. So we wanted to try them out today just for our first segment of Around the Kettle. So basically what we're going to do is... Was that Ghost?
Yeah, he's running. His collar somehow came out, and he's just like using it as a toy.
Wow, he is going absolutely off right now. So real quick, obviously, welcome to our backyard. You guys have seen this a lot of times if you watch our channel, but right now it's in a completely different scene. So it is nighttime. Right now it is actually 7:30 exactly at night. we're getting dinner made, and our dog is just literally going off. Our kids are playing in their play set behind us as well. And I think what we kind of envision for this is, again, us just chit-chatting with you, but also letting everything happen around us as it is going to happen. If the kids scream a little bit, you might hear it. If the dog starts growling, you might hear it as well. And we're just outside cooking some nice dinner.
Yeah, you might be able to see. I don't know if you can see him in one of these cameras. He's like
going off
playing
right now.
toss right now with his collar. He's having a good old time.
Which is all good. He's a dog. That's what he's supposed to do. So
let's talk wings.
yeah, so let's talk wings. So for the longest time, and I think one of the biggest myths when it comes to chicken is that, well, chicken is obviously done at 165, but I think one of the biggest myths about chicken is that 165 is the temperature for chicken.
Right.
And I think that over time, especially with competition and trying to learn a little bit more about barbecue, we found that that's just not the case.
Right.
So when it comes to chicken breast, yeah, I agree. Around that 165 mark is going to be perfect. When it comes to chicken thighs or chicken legs, we take those all the way to 204, 205 degrees.
For sure.
Especially when it comes to competition. We want a nice tender bite. The dark meat can handle that extra high heat, and it just has a really nice and velvety texture. Now, even though wings are technically white meat, they're right on the breast, they're located on the breast, you can also take these to a much higher temperature. What is your desired temperature for finished wings?
Oh, yeah, I definitely prefer them around the 200 range.
For sure.
Because, and I'm one of those people that you don't like watching me eat chicken wings, right? Because everything's not coming off the bone, right? But I think a lot of that has to do with the doneness. Like, I remember growing up, like, my dad loved Hooters. So we would always go to Hooters to eat wings, right?
Sure.
And I used to be that person that, like, pressed it down, broke the bone, everything was coming off, right? Because they're being fried longer into more of that 200 range, right?
Sure.
So sometimes when you're cooking wings at home and you don't have a thermometer and you're just going by maybe time or like maybe just trying to open it up and see, make sure there's no blood, right? If they're not cooked all the way to that 200 range, I find it a lot harder to pull that meat off the bone. So I'm not getting as much meat. So I like it done enough to where all of that meat is going to come off the bone.
No doubt. And so you mentioned something really cool. Alonso just dropped his little plate. You mentioned something really cool that I think is worth talking about. So you mentioned not having a meat thermometer. If somebody doesn't have one, how can they tell that these wings are at that 200-degree mark? Have you ever noticed any things in your head that you're like, okay, now they're done?
Oh, well, definitely. I think once you kind of tear a piece off, you can really tell by the texture. It's going to have a different texture. It's going to come away from that bone easier.
Sure.
That skin is probably going to be a little shriveled down.
Sure.
A little bit more.
No doubt.
Because it's had time, like all that little stuff that are in the wings, they've had time to break down.
Sure.
So it's going to come apart from the bone a lot easier when it actually is done to that 200 range. I think that's why people take it to that range, is because it's going to be more tender. It's going to come off the bone a lot easier.
Yeah, no doubt. So my recommendation would definitely be, if you don't have a meat thermometer, I definitely think, number one, you should get one.
Yeah.
And you should get a very good one. We prefer ThermoWorks. So if you guys are interested, there will be a link for a ThermoWorks ThermaPin down below. But if you do not have one and you're cooking wings, man, take one sacrificial wing and have on some nice hot gloves and try and push that wing down. See if you can separate the meat from the bones very cleanly. If you can separate it cleanly, those wings are done. And like I said just a second ago, right now I'm sitting here. I have my ThermaPin. We're about to check these wings here in just a second to see where they're at. We obviously want to eat dinner really soon, but just again, you do want to make sure that you're cooking your wings to that desired temperature, because the texture is going to be so much better. Whereas if you take it to the 165, a lot of the meat's going to be stuck to the bone. It's not going to be velvety. It's not going to be juicy. It's not going to be really tender. And that skin is actually going to taste fattier.
Right.
Because you haven't rendered that fat out. So I know it seems really technical, but man, we're talking about food. One of the
you
best
said it
things,
much better than I did.
one of the best things in the world to do is eat good food.
Right.
Well, that's exactly why we're doing this. We want to eat good food, and we want to show people how to eat good food. So, man, when you're thinking about chicken wings, don't be afraid to take them further. the way that we're cooking these today is we put a nice little sear on them, and I have them indirect right now. They're going to get done when they're done. I'm not afraid to take them to 200, 205. I'm not even checking the temps. They might be done right now. That's okay. We're talking about food. We're hanging out outside, and hopefully maybe you can get a little shot of the backyard the way we have the nice pole and some lights up here that are GCS colored. You guys obviously may not be able to see that in the video, but this is truly what we do. We sit out here, we have on our lights, we make some nice food, and we wanted to invite you guys into the backyard.
Right. So what would you say is your preferred method of cooking wings?
Man, this is such a hard question to answer because I think that wings are so delicious in so many different ways. It just really
Right.
depends how I'm feeling. So I can honestly eat air fried wings. They're delicious.
Oh, for
I
sure.
can eat battered wings that are fried, deep fried. They're delicious. The wings that we're making today are going to be delicious. I'm not afraid to bake wings. You know how much I love wings.
Oh, yeah. We've done them on the griddle, too,
Yeah,
and they've turned out excellent.
We've done them on the griddle. I don't think that there's an answer to that. Well, okay, here's the thing. I'll give you an answer because I think that I owe an answer. My all-time favorite way to eat wings has to be deep fried. I think deep fried wings are just so good. The crispness is there, the juiciness, everything. When you nail it on a deep fried wing, really hard to beat. What about you?
Yeah, for sure. And if they're deep fried, I don't like too much of a breading. One of our favorite wings is actually the ones you get at the deli from Walmart. And the one thing I dislike about them, though, is on the drumettes, the breading is so thick that you can't even get to the meat.
For
On
sure.
the flats, they're very good. But, yeah, I prefer like a lightly breaded wing if we're frying them. I definitely want that skin, no matter which way you're cooking it. That skin
doubt.
needs to be crisp, or at the very least, like you said, that fat rendered down
No
so
doubt.
that the skin isn't chewy. For example, grilling wings, I have to have the char on there. That's just the way I like chicken in general.
Sure.
So I really prefer that method of, you could just do them direct the whole time and just make sure you're consistently flipping them.
Make sure you're consistently flipping them
Yeah.
if you do that.
Pull them away if
No
you
doubt.
need to get them away from the fire, or like we're doing right now. We seared them off, and then we're letting them go indirect until they're done cooking.
Yeah. And like I said, we'll check them here in just a few minutes before we end the segment, but we did want to talk about the chicken wings again today. And we're curious, what do you guys want to see us cook next on this segment? Now, is this going to be something that we do every single episode?
No, probably not. Especially
Absolutely. The answer is absolutely not.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was kind of expecting you to say no, but no, the answer is absolutely not. I'm sorry. I should have just said, hey, we're not going to do this every episode, but it's not feasible for us to do this.
especially if we have a guest.
No doubt. So this is not something that we're going to be doing every episode at all, but we are looking for other segments to do as well. So
For
we can
sure.
kind of flip them out every once in a while and do something fun and interesting, and hopefully you guys are enjoying this. Like I said, we're just hanging out in the backyard. Why don't we check these wings?
Yeah, let's go ahead and check them. And my, oh my, those are looking very good.
So far, so good. These right here that I'm hovering over are actually my wings. And you can see right now, hopefully in the camera, they're around 189 degrees. So they're not quite where I want them, but let's check Sabrina's. Those feel really tender and nice.
Around
These
the
are
same.
also around the same, 186. So let's go ahead and cover the lid, and we'll check back on them in just a few minutes.
All right, so when it comes to wing flavors, what do you think is your favorite wing flavor?
Lemon pepper hot. It's easy.
Right.
Lemon pepper hot's my favorite of all time. A good lemon pepper with a good hot sauce is just absolutely going to be hard for me to turn away ever. So I actually really like the lemon pepper hot wings from, what is it called?
Wingstop?
Wingstop. And speaking of which is your favorite restaurant to eat wings from?
Growing up, like I said, we had Hooters a lot, but we don't go there anymore. I don't remember the last time I've ever been.
I went to Hooters.
Right, exactly. Then there's, Wings and More, like back in high school. One of my friends, Molly, that was her favorite place to eat.
I'm just not a fan of Wings and More.
Yes.
And the reason is because, sorry to cut you off, but I have to say this piece. The wings are too small and they dry out really easily.
They are, yes.
I do not like that. But their fried pickles, fire, all day.
Oh, I would always go like wing and tender combo or just the tenders because they got really good tenders.
Sure.
The thing I did like, though, is they have a lot of sauce options, a lot of flavor options.
Yeah, no doubt.
But if I'm going specifically for wings, especially in our area, the only place you can go is Wingstop.
Yeah, and I would say the Wingstop's probably the best. I mean, we've never really had a specialty wing store, wing place restaurant around us. So, I mean, maybe, I don't know, one of these days we'll open one up. I don't know. Because I do love chicken wings that much. I would be down to do it.
Yeah.
But no, we need to think of some exotic flavors like blueberry, honey, hazel, chicken wings or something like that. Everyone's always into that weird crafty stuff these days.
Yeah.
Which is kind of,
the hip stuff.
Yeah, the hip stuff, which is cool, but it's just not something that we do. So maybe we need to get into that. But it's been a few more minutes on these wings. Let's check them out. You do have some butter and some lemon that you wanted to throw on your wings. So let's see if we need to do that.
And so I was never really a lemon pepper person growing up, but it's something as I've gotten older that's got to be one of my favorite ways to eat wings. I do like a good, barbecue sauced wing.
I hate to cut you off, but I'm looking right at 205 on these wings.
Oh, yeah.
Which is perfect.
Time.
That's perfect for me. Let me temp all these. Yep. They're looking really good, feeling really good. All right, so now we'll go ahead and put some butter, and then you have butter and lemon over here, right?
That's right.
We're just going to let this melt for a few seconds. The wings are done, but I'm not worried about them going just a little bit over.
But yeah, so as I was saying, I do like a nice barbecue sauce wing, but I think that sauce has got to be like that thick Sweet Baby Ray's. That's what I like on my wings. I don't like a thin sauce on my wings.
See, I disagree because I think that the way that we sauce our comp wings is exactly the way I would want them.
So comp wings.
Well, the comp wings are really good.
They're really good.
I can just eat those. So so we talked to Kevin on the phone earlier. The first comp wing that I had where I was absolutely mind blown was Kevin's comp wings.
Right.
They were so delicious, and I'm not just saying this. You can ask him. I literally ate like 6 or 8 of them. I was like, bro, I need another one. I need another one. I need another one. And I told him, I was like, dude, you need to run an all-wing box. I don't know if he did or not, but I told him straight up, I was like, dude, you need to run all wings. Those are insane. We ran an all-wing box in Angleton. It didn't end up doing that bad for us, but if we go to Smoking on the Rio next weekend, we're running an all-wing box.
Oh, for sure.
Throwing that out there. If you guys want to run an all-wing box right next to us, do it. We are running an all-wing box next week at Smoking on the Rio if we go. The only difference I would say this time is I don't want to do the grill marks. I felt like the hash marks on them just weren't uniform enough for me.
Right.
I'm a little too anal about that. I'll admit it, but I want them to look super duper uniform.
Yeah, and so I will say competition wings are superior. Much like when you do a competition thigh, it is superior to a regular barbecue thigh. So when I say, a backyard barbecue wing with the Sweet Baby Ray's, to me, that's a completely different thing than like the competition wings, right? So yeah, those competition wings, though, they are superior.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So for our first segment of Around the Kettle, I think that we've done exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to bring you guys into the backyard. We wanted to show you what we're eating for dinner, and we wanted to talk a little bit about chicken wings. So now we're going to show you a final shot of our chicken wings, and we're going to head back inside.
I've got to say, your wings look amazing.
Your wings look good, too. They both look really good.
We're definitely going to have to try each other's. I love the amount of char and
no doubt
crustiness that your wing has on it.
No doubt. So the last thing we're going to do is take a quick bite, let you guys know how they taste, and hopefully they taste amazing, and you try them too.
Oh, we forgot to mention, you go flats or drums?
I go both. Don't matter to me. So I can honestly say that is extremely incredible. In the end, I mixed butter and a little bit of that garlic parm seasoning, and then I basted it over the top of the wings, and it made a little coating of it, and it was just absolutely incredible. So I really enjoyed these wings. If you guys have not tried that Weber seasoning, definitely grab it. Hopefully you like it too.
Yeah, I got to get one of yours. Oh, yeah, and I'm really liking the way that these are cooked. Oh, yeah, I love that. Even though it's a grilled wing and not a fried wing, I mean, the skin tastes like it could have been fried.
No doubt. Delicious. Absolutely delicious. What did you think of yours?
I thought they were great. I definitely got to try. So, I mean, I'm a flat person, but there's like that specific bite of a drumette on a wing that I always go for. So once we're done here, I'm definitely going to finish those up.
Nice. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed being around the kettle with Sabrina and I. We're going to head back inside, and we're going to finish up this episode. Now, those could have probably been the best wings that I've ever had. I absolutely love chicken wings. I probably say that every time because I never get tired of eating them. We got a big game coming up soon, a big football game. When you think game day foods, what's on your mind?
I mean, I definitely think barbecue, right? Like the ribs, wings. But I also think appetizers. I mean, that's usually what's on my mind is everybody's making a bunch of different appetizers.
Mm-hmm. For me, it's big time appetizers. It's finger foods.
Right.
I don't know. It's kind of the same way we do New Year's.
Yeah.
It's finger foods. It's always been finger foods for my family. I can't explain it. It's just what we do. So obviously, we're thinking chicken wings. I'm thinking sliders. I'm thinking nachos.
Yeah.
Really, recently, I've been hardcore into... What are they called? The little Smokies?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the little
pigs in a blanket,
the little Smokies with cheese, and then you just get the croissant from the store and you bake them. Fire.
Yeah.
Absolutely fire. So Ninja Q, some guy that I follow on Instagram, he's an influencer. He's got a bunch of followers and everything. He actually did them, but he put a jalapeno and cream cheese in it too.
Oh, like a popper, yeah.
Yeah, he made it like a popper, and I'm like, man, we need to try that out because that looked really good.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ninja Q. Don't know if you'd ever watch this, but hey, if you do, shout out. But so I'm thinking finger foods like that. So another thing that I see a lot of people making is the meatballs with like the jelly and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here in front. I don't think that's my cup of tea. I don't think that's my cup of tea at all. But if you guys have tried it out, let me know. Is it actually good? I don't think I've ever tried it. Now, I will mess up some little Smokies and some Sweet Baby Ray's like my cousin did at the Christmas party.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have any of those?
I didn't, but they're kind of made this a similar way, right? Like,
yeah, but
just the little Smokies. They've got a sauce and a crock pot.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just a little Smokies. I think it should literally be only Sweet Baby Ray's. That should be the only seasoning. I'm sorry, the only sauce you're allowed to use. And then they just throw it in a crock pot and keep it warm.
Yeah.
But like, dude, I can down 60 of those things. Yeah. They're so good. I don't know what it is. They're just really dang good. But I mean, what are some off the wall or some different things that you think of, if any, when it comes to game day that you're like, man, that's it right there?
It's hard to say because, I mean, any big event, whether it was a holiday or even just the biggest game day of the year, my mom was always making lumpia and pancit. So it's hard to say. We had like the regular.
We need to make that still.
Yeah, we do. We plan to do it for New Year's, but
just didn't work out.
Yes. We'll have to put a recipe out for that soon. That's something, I mean, we don't eat it too often anymore just because like my mom and my side of the family isn't really here. And that's something that we would eat all the time.
Sure.
But it is something that I know how to make and I'm comfortable making. It's just, we don't really do it that often.
Well, the problem is a lot of the times when we want to make different exotic things, our kids are not going to eat it. So we end up making all this food and it's just me and you. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I'm full, but we made so much. Let's try to keep eating.
That's not something you just make a small batch of.
You make a bunch of it. So, man, I don't know what it is, but recently I've been thinking game day foods, what can be a little bit different. And not that it's even different, but man, a big, gigantic sub sandwich.
Right.
With like multiple different sections. This one has ham and cheese, this one turkey and cheese, pepperoni and mozzarella, roast beef and cheddar, whatever. Man, I think it'd be really cool to make a gigantic sub with different sections in it, have all the toppings on the sides, allow people to kind of make them how they want to, cut them into triangles. I think that'd be something really cool to try. But man, I think for me, man, when I think about game day, it's almost always, for me, chicken wings and pizza. I don't know if you remember, there used to be a time when Papa John's would do, what was it, like 20% off every time that the Spurs played on Tuesday? And we would literally get pizza every single time that was a thing. And I'm like, hey, this is game day.
Yeah.
This is game day. I'm not doing anything but watching the Spurs, eating pizza, and eating wings. Nothing else. So I'm a huge pizza and wings guy. I know it's super traditional, but I mean, I just feel like you can't go wrong.
Yeah. And for me, especially like growing up, like, it was my mom, me, and my sister like cooking. My dad's grilling, but the rest of us are like cooking all the other stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the whole time you're cooking, you're snacking on those like chips, salsa, queso.
Yeah,
so
and then
like,
you're like all full.
Yeah, so for me, when I think game day, it's like I'm always geared towards that. Like I could probably just eat like 7-layer dip or queso and
7-layer dip's a good one. We haven't made that in a long time. I think the last time we made it, you made it on maybe New Year's Eve or something like that, a couple of years back.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But we should do one of those for a little short or something like that. That'd actually be a great short for upcoming.
Yeah, I'm into making like homemade chips though. Not like homemade tortillas, but frying your own chips. Like that can take it up just
a whole nother level for sure. I agree. I mean, I think every single time we buy the corn tortillas and you make the chips, man, they're fire. Yeah. They're really good. They're really, really good. But I mean, if you guys have any game day foods that you really enjoy, that you think are a little bit different, and drop them in the comments down below and let us know. Because I'm curious what we could do this year that's just a little bit different than normal. You know what I mean? Because we have definitely always stayed very traditional, even with the Super Bowl. If I'm not mistaken, I think last year we literally made like hot dogs and hamburgers, something super duper simple, or probably wings and pizza. And we've never really branched out. And I kind of want to try. Yeah.
Well, and also, I like something sweet too. So what's your go-to like sweet appetizer? I don't think that's something people really think of. Most people probably go buy cupcakes from the store or like a cookie cake or something and just throw it on the table, right?
Yeah, I think when it comes to, hey, I'm going to watch the Super Bowl, I think that you're definitely trying to get a lot of flavor and a lot of good flavor for as little work as possible.
Right.
Because, man, I want to focus on the game. And now, obviously, you can pre-bake or pre-make stuff. But, man, hey, throw some weenies on the griddle and get them buns toasted and open up a can of chili and throw some shredded cheddar on them things. And that's what we're eating for the Super Bowl, for sure.
Well, and that's the thing is you have to, whatever you make, it's got to be something that you can make a lot of easily.
For sure.
And that's why I think everybody sticks to like the weenies in the crock pot or the meatballs in the crock pot or like smoking a couple racks of ribs.
Yeah.
Because you do that all at once, right?
Yeah. And, and the thing is, especially that's one thing that I've learned from doing competition barbecue. Man, if you guys want to cook anything, don't be afraid to rest it.
Right.
Rest it and let it sit there for 2 hours. Our ribs sit in that Cambro for a few hours before we cut them to turn them in, and they always taste pretty good. We haven't had issues with drying them out or anything like that. So, man, don't be afraid to make barbecue ahead of time and rest it.
Oh, and even if you don't have a Cambro, use a cooler or put your oven on
keep warm.
If you have a pellet grill, that has to keep warm setting most of the time.
For sure.
So there's ways to make barbecue ahead of time and hold it to make your game day prep easier.
Yeah, no doubt. I think you're right on target with that. No doubt. So, again, if anybody has any recipes, drop them in the comments down below and let us know. If you guys are listening to this right now on Friday, we're probably headed to the competition in Refugio, so wish us luck. Everybody that's going to meet us out there and they're going to try their hand at this sport that we love so much, we wish you the best of luck as well. Bring your A game. I want everybody on their A game all the time, every single time. Can't wait to see Kevin. Zach's going to be there. Randall's going to be there. Bo's going to be there. Carl's going to be there. So a lot of our friends are going to be there, and we're really excited to see everybody. So if you guys enjoy the podcast, let us know by dropping a comment, liking, subscribing to the channel. We're almost to 35,000 subscribers. I think the last time we talked, it was like 33 or 33 something. So we're growing, and we're grateful that you guys continue to hit the subscribe button. Hopefully watch all of our videos. And I've told you guys this once. I'll tell you again. If there's anything specifically that you want to see, please, please, please let us know. We will absolutely do everything we can to make it happen for you.
And let us know what you want to see us cook next on our Around the Kettle segment.
Sure.
We're looking for, quick, easy things, but things that are different, things that are exciting. So, I'm down for something interesting,
no doubt.
The wings and the poppers, which we're still going to do.
Yeah, no doubt.
Those go hard. But, we want to see some really interesting ideas from you guys.
And also, please be brutally honest with us, because this is what it's about. Introducing segments into the podcast is to hopefully find something that you guys really enjoy. Okay? And we cannot grow if you guys don't give us honest feedback on the segment. Now, granted, yes, this was our first one, and it might have been a little bit shaky. We'll kind of look back on the footage and see how everything went. But if you guys don't think this is a good idea, I mean, man, if enough people tell us, hey, I didn't really like that. I didn't think it was a good, man, we won't do it. I mean, we do make content for us, but I've told you guys before, without you guys, there's nobody listening or watching. So, yeah, I mean, that's just the way that it goes. So anyway, please be honest with us when it comes to these segments that we're putting out. We really, really, really want to make stuff that you guys like. We're trying something new. Hopefully it sticks. If it doesn't, it's going to be okay. Sabrina and I are fighters. We will keep fighting until we find something that you guys want to see and really enjoy. That being said, don't forget, remain who you are. Always be strong in your beliefs, no matter what they are. We believe in you. Hopefully you believe in us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Anything else?
Now we'll see you on the next one.
Peace.